Warrior X Pro from Olight. Now, let me read you some of the specs on this thing. It's pretty impressive. It's a 500 meter throw, and then the max lumens on it is 2100. So that's a pretty bright flashlight. It's got a high and a low setting. Again, the high is 2100. The low is 300 lumens. The run time on the 2100, it runs for 2 minutes at the 2100, and then it drops down to 1000 lumens for 100 minutes, and then after that it drops down to 300 for 23 more minutes. So you can get a fairly long run time out of a very bright flashlight. And then on the 300 lumens, it's about a 6-hour run time on the 300 lumens. The impact on this one, if you drop it from about 9 feet up in the air, it's still going to withstand that, so it's got a pretty tough body on it. It's waterproof. The length is 5.87 inches. The front bezel is 1.5 inches diameter, and then the weight on this thing is 6.43 ounces, and that includes the weight of the battery. So it comes with a couple of different accessories. It's got the knurled ring that's on the flashlight when you get it, and then it's got a smoother ring that's got more of a rubberized texture that comes with it. Then of course it's got the charging cord, it's got a lanyard that you can put around your wrist. Okay, so let's see what's in the box here. So of course you get the flashlight, and it comes in a nice holster. We'll look at that in just a minute. Then you got the charging cord here, and then this is the lanyard and the other, what they call the tactical grip ring. And then you get a nice Olight sticker if you want to use that. And then your instruction manual. This is your lanyard that you can put around your wrist. This is the tactical grip ring. It's instead of having the finger grooves in it, it's just a smooth ring, but it's got a rubberized texture on it. And we'll look at changing that out in just a minute. Of course, you get the charging cord, and like most other of the Olights that are rechargeable, you get it's a magnetic charging cord. And the flashlight comes in 2 colors. This really nice green color, or you can get it in black. The magnetic charging cable goes on the end of the flashlight where the activation switch is. It's got some raised pieces here that keep it up off of the switch so that you can still depress the switch, but it doesn't mess up the magnet when you put the magnet on here to charge it. So the very positive attachment there when the magnet attaches to the flashlight. So it's not going to fall off, and it's not going to wear like a USB charging cord does. So that's a very good combination there as far as how they do their charging apparatus. Now, to change out the grip ring on here, it has the instructions in the manual, but it's going to be like you would take the battery out of the flashlight. So you just take off the tailpiece here, and when you first get this thing, it's going to have the yellow protective piece in here to keep the battery from discharging if it happens to accidentally get pressed while it's in shipment. So you need to pull that yellow piece of protective film off, and then it's got an O-ring right here. Okay, so once the O-ring comes off of the threads here on the flashlight, just put it down, and then the one with the finger grooves, the little grip ring, you can take it off, and then you also have to take off the belt clip or pocket clip, and it just pops off. And then you slide this one back down over the flashlight. Put the O-ring back on it. Again, getting O-rings into grooves beside the threads is a little bit tricky sometimes. Okay, so that's got that on there. and then you just screw the tailpiece back on there, and you've got the grip ring here. It's a little bit stickier ring. It's not the slick aluminum finish like the rest of the flashlight is. So just whichever one you like better as far as the grip goes. I'll probably switch back to the other one because I like the feel of the other one better, and also having the pocket clip if I want to put the pocket clip back on. But the light itself is very well built. It's got the nice aluminum alloy body, and it's got some very distinct cuts and everything on it, so you're not going to have to worry about this thing sliding out of your hand. You can get a very positive grip on the flashlight because of all of the knurling and everything on the body. It's got a lot of grooves cut in it so that you can get a very good grip on it, whether you're holding it up like this or you're holding it like a normal flashlight, whichever one you like holding things better with. The end of the flashlight has the protective prongs on the end to keep the glass protected, so if you do drop it, then it won't hit directly on the glass. And we'll go into a little bit darker area here in a minute and show you what the light looks like, but just if you push the activation switch in slightly, it will go to the 300 lumen setting, and then if you push it all the way down, it goes to the 2100 lumen setting. So it's got a nice concentrated beam right in the center, but then it also has a pretty wide flood on both sides to be able to get a lot of light going down range of where you're trying to point the light. Now, one thing that you got to keep in mind with this flashlight is the longer this thing runs, the warmer this body gets. So if you have this thing on for a good while, this aluminum body is going to get a little bit warm on you. So make sure that you're kind of holding it back here toward the back rather than up front toward the bezel. So very nice flashlight. And then this is the best holster that I've ever seen come with a flashlight. It's very well made. The backer on it is a stiff board, and then that's sewn down with some nice edging around here. The pocket for the flashlight itself is a molded material. It's got some dents cut in it to help keep the flashlight into the holster itself, so you're not going to have to worry about if for some reason you fail and the magnetic switch or the magnetic closure on the holster came open, the flashlight itself is not going to fall out. It's a very well made holster, and it does have the magnetic catch on the outside of it rather than Velcro. That's one of the main issues I've had with every other holster that I've ever gotten with a flashlight, is that Velcro on the front of it. The more you open and close that thing, and if you're going to use the flashlight like you normally would for everyday carry, you're going to be opening and closing it fairly often, and that Velcro just wears out. It gets dust and lint and everything in it, so it doesn't function as well as it should, and you wind up, well, at least me anyway, I've tossed a couple of holsters and then had to find something that was better made to be able to keep the holster in place, or keep the flashlight in place with my holster, so I can carry the thing every day, because I carry a flashlight with me all the time. Now, the holster itself has also got a Velcro on the back with but the belt loop itself is back behind the Velcro, so you can wrap this Velcro around something else other than your belt if you wanted to do it that way. And then it's got a little lanyard hook type thing right here on the back of it as well. And the bottom of the holster is open to let anything that gets in the holster fall out. If for some reason it does get a little water in there, then it's not going to be able to sit down in there and cause any problems with the holster. But this thing is very well made. I really like the way it has functioned for me. I've been carrying it now for a little over a week, and I really like the way the holster and the light itself have performed. The biggest thing with the switch is to get to the lower setting on the light, is you really just barely have to push the thing in. It's almost, you think you're just going to be barely activating it to just kind of do like you would if you just held the flashlight down to get it to operate. But you just barely press it in to get the lower light setting, and then you push it all the way down to get the very bright setting. So that the switch just takes a little bit of getting used to, instead of having one of the types of lights where you can just press the switch in and then you have the different clicks here on the side of the flashlight to be able to go through the different intensity settings. Everything is in this one switch here on the back. It simplifies it as far as the fact of not having to worry about other switches, having something else that might mess up on the flashlight. You've just got the one main switch that you have to deal with. There's a couple of differences between the Warrior X and the Warrior X Pro, this is the Pro model, and the difference that it talks about on the back of the box here is that the Warrior X Pro will charge faster because it's got a little bit different charging cable than the other one, and the battery is specifically designed for this flashlight, so it's going to have a faster charging capability than the other one. Very nice flashlight, and I'd highly recommend it, that if you're looking for a good everyday carry flashlight, that you would pick up the Warrior X Pro. Now, one of the other benefits of dealing with Olight is when you sign up with them, they'll usually send you some type of little gift to go with it. Just depends on what kind of promotion they're running at the time. When I happened to sign up and buy this one, the gift that they were sending you is the little small i3E EOS flashlight. And this is a nice little keychain flashlight. To be as small as it is, it's still a pretty nice little light. Again, it will go on your keychain if you wanted to carry it around on your keychain, but it is a 90 lumen flashlight. So for a small light like this, still a fairly bright little light. And so there's your 90 lumen there. And that's the 300 is definitely washing out the 90, and then when you do the 2100, it really washes out the 90. But for the size and cost of this little light right here, if you had to buy it, it's a very nice little light, and it will function well for you if you just need a little reading light or just something to keep on your keychain. So if you're trying to get in your car at night and you don't have one of the new fancy cars that everything lights up on the outside of it when you approach the car, then something like this will help you find your keys or whatever, find your the lock on your door to be able to open your car up. And so check out Olight and check out doubleeaglegunworks.com for more information, and like and subscribe down at the bottom. We'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.